Well, let's talk specifically about insulin. Most of the insulin out there is what's called U100 insulin. You better know this. Whether you write the U this way or this way, it doesn't matter. I mean, you won't matter. If you see it written, it means the same thing. That means, you better know this, it means there are 100 units of insulin in every milliliter, every 1 milliliter of the fluid. So if the patient were to get, 50 units, that's half of this, right? There'd be a half of a milliliter in the syringe. The thing is, here's what's so very nice, and I'll stress this over and over. What's so nice about doing insulin, by injection, it's always injections, of course. It's never oral. It's always done in what's called an insulin syringe. There are special syringes made to give you 100 insulin in. And here's the next big thing. You don't do a dosage calculation. Now, I'm going to show you the syringes on another video, one below here, and you'll see, oh yeah, they're marked in units. So if you're told to give 16 units of insulin, you just mark the 16 unit mark on this syringe. You don't do any dosage calculations. In fact, it causes me great mental and emotional anguish when on the quiz, I see them trying to do a dosage calculation, even worse, on the final. I can tell they're trying to do a dosage calculation. You don't do a dosage calculation with insulin. You're told how much to give, measured in units. You just mark that, you just put the right amount in the syringe. You don't even do any math. It's that simple. Now some cautions. And I'm going to refer you to your book. I'm assuming you're on this, the book we're using for the class. And I'm going to do this really high-tech thing on page 371. Ooh, look at all those. Now there's gobs and gobs of different kinds of insulin. What I mean is this. There's different names. There's, of course, some of these are brand names. There's Novolog, and there's Humulin N, and there's Lantus, and there's all kinds of weird things. Lente, Ultra Lente, the Dudley version. So, if you're told to give, here's the thing. You're ordered to give 50 units of Lente. Well, then you get that kind of insulin, and you give that. Or you're told to give 30 units of regular insulin, you give the regular insulin. If you're told to give whatever, 16 units of Ultra Lente, well, you get that bottle. And with very few exceptions, one more time, it'll say, well, for every time, it'll say on the bottle, U100, if it's that kind. Now, here's the deal. There are some other kinds, they're not as common. Those are called U500 insulin. Now, this should be real clear. If U100 insulin means there's 100 units per milliliter, guess what U500 insulin means? It means there are 500 units in every milliliter. It's 5 times stronger. And here's the caution. You do not use an insulin syringe the same way when you have the U500 insulin. So this chapter does not even cover U500. I'm just throwing this out right now so when you're out there in the real world eventually, you don't do this the same way. That's different. All we're doing in this chapter for this quiz is the U100 insulin. And on your homework problems and on the quiz, even if it doesn't say U100, you know that's what we're talking about. All we're doing in this chapter on this quiz is the U100 insulin. And there are syringes to do it with. That's what's so nice. So, all these different kinds, you don't need to know what kinds what. See, some of these are fast acting. You give the shot to the patient, it begins to act boom, right away. Some are slow acting. They kick in later and they spread out their activity over a long period of time. Some are kind of intermediate. You don't need to know which ones are fast acting, which ones are intermediate, which ones are slow acting. That doesn't matter. Don't bother memorizing all that. You don't need to know that. All you need to know is if you're told, here's a problem, you're supposed to give 32 units of Ultra Lente U100 insulin. You just get that bottle and you get that much and put that in your syringe. That's going to be marked off in units. You're thinking, this is easy. It's going to be real easy. So the next video lecture will be over the different kinds of syringes. There are different kinds. You'll see that shortly, or whenever you look at this thing, maybe 3 or 4 weeks from now. But it's real simple. I keep saying that. It's just you have to do these cautions. Don't use the 500, U500. That's not for this stuff. It's all U100. And you don't do any math involved in doing the dosage calculations. I can shut up now.